Welcome. It is the Vol Report with Cooper Mays, and we're going to dive right into it. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're a fan of Cooper, a fan of Tennessee, or a fan of city heating and air conditioning, they bring you the Vol Report with Cooper Mays. So, Coop, lifting a lot. That's what the off season's all about. And this time of year, just discuss what you put into football this time of year for those that may not know.
The biggest thing for me is I'm older in my career, so I don't have as much class. So that allows and opens a lot of doors to train more. But I mean, the normal day for an athlete right now or a football player would be, you're waking up, you have mandatory breakfast, and then, finding different times throughout to get extra work on the field and meetings, and you got your mandatory lifts about every day, So it's pretty long days, and then you're probably rehabbing some stuff from the season before if you play a lot. So there's a lot of levels to it, a lot of stuff that's got to get done, and then you add on class on top of that for most people.
What's your favorite lift when it's on the schedule? What do you see and you say oh, cool, it's that day?
I like anything that's a pull, like a anything back related. Back and core.
Yeah, that's funny. I do too, but I guess our weights are a little bit different.
You never know, man. Don't don't sell yourself short. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I like to go in for a full bacchiotomy. Just go ahead and get the lats and all those back there. But I have a feeling you got me beat. Nevertheless, as far as knowing your body, how much does it change over time? Because through high school, you're still growing, but you've kind of sort of been a professional athlete in or a regimented athlete for now since you showed up at Tennessee. How much more do you know your body and how much you can push yourself as opposed to your freshman year?
Definitely different levels for it. You definitely feel a lot different when, you're 22, 23 as compared to when you were 18. I always tell people when I was in high school, I used to be able to just run out there eating breakfast, no tape on me, nothing, and I'd have a good day. But not anymore. It's you definitely have to prepare your body the right way.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot worse for you. He's Cooper Mays. I'm Dave Hooker. The Vol Report brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Integrity matters. Absolutely does. City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Coop, one of the guys that we've talked about that shines most during these workout periods is Elijah Simmons. And I recall you telling me that he's what did he do again? What was the lift again that he did 405 over 40 times?
Yeah, he was a back squat.
That's a lot of weight, a lot of times.
Yeah, he has me beat. I don't know about you, but
he's got me. Yeah. So where does he rank as the most freakishly strong guys you've been around?
He's definitely up there. There's no doubt that Big E is probably one of the more strong people I've been around. He's also just built very well for lifting weights. We always talk about he could be a strong man or a whatever they call him. I think that's a strong man or whatever, but he thinks, I think that he could do that. I've been around a lot of big guys and nobody really moves weight as well as him, but there's a few other people that are crazy strong that I've been around too.
We've talked about Elijah before, and I think a lot of people, when they hear that he is that physically gifted from a strength perspective, especially where he plays at defensive tackle, they wonder why has he not been more productive? How much of injuries been a part?
I mean, it slows everybody down. Some more than others. Obviously, I don't have the best of luck with it sometimes, but we all battle some stuff for sure.
Absolutely. What do you think of his potential this fall?
No, through the roof. Like I said, he's a specimen. So if he puts together the right tape and everything, there's no telling what his opportunities will be.
Is he kind of the player? I remember you told me about Darnell Wright? Is he kind of the player that you might point to as far as the guy that could take that next big step? I'm not going to say he's going to be a first rounder, but he plays a position that's pretty coveted.
No doubt. He's how athletic he is and how big he is and how he can, translate power. It's pretty rare. So, yeah, like I said, his potential is through the roof.
When you go ones on ones, what makes him so difficult to block aside from the strength?
Well, I mean, it all plays into one-on-ones are hard to win anyway for the O lineman because, D linemen get their. I mean, they're standing there one-on-ones. You're standing there for a while and then you go. So you're 100% juiced up, 100% breath. You're not tired at all. So you get the D lineman's best rush, and there's no combinations at all. So
Well,
it's hard.
And to clarify, I meant ones, just when you're going first team against first team.
Okay. Reset it again then.
Okay. What makes him difficult to block when it's ones first teams versus first team?
Just I mean, you said aside from his strength, but I mean that's a hard thing to ignore. I mean, he's extremely athletic. So when you combine how strong he is and how athletic he is, the power and force created is crazy. So when he's has a full gas tank and he's breathing good, there's not much you can do about it.
Would you be surprised if he was a first round pick?
Man, like I said, you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, another guy that you had mentioned, as we were discussing, was Dylan Sampson. You've always been high on that young man, but the first thing that we discussed when we're talking about him is his leadership. What are your thoughts on his leadership to this point in the offseason?
Really, really good. So anytime you get older, you just naturally get a little bit more confidence, and he's been here a couple more years, so he feels really comfortable here, and I think it's helped him flourish a little bit. He talks really well, and anybody that's ever been around him or talked to him knows that he's a really good kid, and he stands on what he talks about. So anybody like that has a chance to be a really good leader.
Pretty shifty too. You pointed out last year. Is he big enough and ready enough to be the featured back in your system, the down in down out back?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you look at the Kentucky game, I think it was. I mean, he carried a tremendous amount of that load, so I wouldn't see why it would be any different than that. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, are we going to hand it to Dylan 45 times in a game? Like that's not what we do around here. So we've always got a good amount of backs that can all play to a similar level. So we like to spread the love a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely I think does a lot. Is an incredible runner. It surprised me because I'd compared him to Alvin Kamara a little bit. I'm sure you remember him. And then I looked up their weights, and they were about 25 pounds difference, which can affect you in pass protection. How do you think he's done in pass protection kind of to this point? I know a lot of people have wondered about that.
I think he's done really well. He's a guy that really the biggest thing with Dylan is he's extremely smart and he understands where we're going with the protections. So that alleviates a lot of the burden already. And he's definitely not a guy that's scared to do anything. So anytime you got a guy that knows where they're going and a guy who's willing to go there, it usually works out pretty well.
I was going to ask you about that. With a running back, they want the ball, they want to run the green, they want to be the superstars. How much of it is a want to with any running back when it comes to pass protection?
I mean, I wouldn't want to do it personally. Wouldn't.
But I mean, you wouldn't want to, but you've got.
I mean, you have to, yeah. I mean, me personally, if I was running back, I probably wouldn't want to. It's what I do though. So I mean, obviously, I don't judge very much, but man, if I had just gotten done running the ball and was trucking people and carrying people and pushing piles and stuff, I definitely wouldn't want to step up and hit a linebacker who probably weighs about 20 pounds more than you. Not a good deal, man.
It's very understandable. What about if we reversed roles and you carried the ball a couple of times?
I'd be pretty tired probably.
Hey, didn't you jump on another fumble? How many fumbles have you recovered in your time at Tennessee?
I think two.
Yeah,
Two now. Pretty good ones too.
They were significant.
The LSU one was obviously more significant because the game went our way. But yeah, that was a big time fumble because that could have changed the game a lot. It was I think we were only on like the 15-yard line, something like that, when I recovered it.
Are you talking about the LSU one or
The LSU? Well, both were in like the same spot.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's kind of deja vu. So the last one was in the Citrus Bowl, correct?
No, so I had it was the LSU game last year and then Missouri this past year. Wait, did I recover one in the Citrus Bowl too?
I'm gonna trust you instead of me. Maybe I'm thinking of the Missouri game. When's the last time that you touched the football when you were supposed to?
The last offensive play of Iowa.
Probably. Oh, I mean, not as a snapper, as
oh, dude, never. I think one time, I think there was, no joke, I think there was one time when I was in my freshman year here, and they let me play tight end, obviously. I played tight end most of the year my freshman year. And they put in a package for me to have a route and, like, maybe catch the ball. And I remember not knowing anything about it until about 20 minutes before practice because I was just probably not doing my due diligence as an 18-year-old kid and, not as in depth with my football as I should have been. So I messed that up. I think he called the play and I ran the wrong route and it was done with that. So,
so this is a freshman though, but were you allowed to? I know with Little League they put did they have the big X?
We had the X on our helmet. Cade had an interception that he returned for like 40 yards and they called it back because he was over the weight limit.
Wait, I didn't know they could call it back on defense. I didn't.
Yeah, man. Can't carry the ball if you're that big. It's a danger to the kids.
So, did you ever touch the ball other than being a center when you were supposed to in high school?
You're saying offense then, right?
Yes, offense.
No. I had an interception one time, but
tell me how that played out.
Somebody hit the quarterback as his arm was coming forward, and I snatched it out of the air. I guess you would call it more of a strip sack fumble kind of thing, but who knows, man? Fair enough. I'll take what I can get.
Fair enough. Okay, so I thought in the last couple of months in December, not sure what Cooper's going to do, not sure what John Campbell is going to do, not sure if they'll get help via the transfer portal. You and I have talked about Jalen Hurd, so that's the case. Kind of in the past couple of months, it's gone from that your offensive line could be a concern to could be a real team strength. How do you view it?
I would view it just how you said it, probably. I think you're pretty on point with that. I think it'd be really good.
How good do you think you guys can be?
So good. I mean, I think we would be really good. I think we got a lot of experience, and we got to get some stuff right. But I mean, I think we got a really good chance to be a good O-line.
As far as running the football, you guys take a lot of pride in that. When you see other offenses that may be high tempo, that may throw the ball around a lot, that may be more finesse, I mean, when you see those, you say to yourself, that's not really us, because you do take pride in running the football.
I'm glad people are talking about it, because I feel like most people thought that we were like a passing team or something. I don't know. It seemed like people thought we were like a finesse squad for these last few years since Heupel's got here. But realistically, I don't know if you saw the stat. I think we were the first team to run for 2,500 in 3 years in a row in program history. Right?
I didn't see that stat, but I would think that would be right. Yeah.
I'm telling you the stat. I think it was 2,500 yards, and we averaged over 200 yards a game for 3 years straight. It's the first time it's ever been done in program history. And that's pretty stout, man. My dad played with some really good dudes where I think they had four all SEC O linemen on the same O line, had a stable of running backs, and then they obviously didn't do what we've done. So
Yeah, no, I that's a pretty incredible stat. When you post 2 bills on another team, how good do you feel that night? When you run for over 200 yards, I mean, you got to be like, that was dominating.
oh yeah, dude. I mean, Kentucky and Texas A&M were like some of the probably the 2 funnest games of the season, just for that sole reason, because we just ran all over them and they couldn't do anything to stop it. I think Texas A&M at the time, people thought they had the #1 defense or #1 front seven in all of college football, and we ran for like 220 or something. I'm not really sure, but Jalen Wright had 7 yards to carry, throughout the whole season.
Yeah. Speaking of, you got to take a slight shift in the running backs that are behind you because Jalen did leave and Jabari Small is gone, and I understand that being running backs, there's not a lot of time that you can play that position. Um, as far as working with chemistry with new running backs, is that a thing, or do you just pretty much do what you do?
At this point, I kind of just do what I do, and they kind of,
Just to you?
yeah, kind of. I was trying to figure a way I'd phrase that out, but yeah, I mean, I kind of am pretty conscientious of where I need to leverage blocks and where they need to go. So, I mean, if they know what they're doing, then they'll realize that I know what they're doing as well, because I'm everything I do is in relation to the ball and where the ball is going to be. So at this point, I think they kind of trust me and trust where I go.
Yep, absolutely. He is Cooper Mays, the Vol Report, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Go to cityheatandair.com. You can trust them. Integrity matters. 50 years in Tennessee. For Coop, I'm Dave. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.